Hey guys, I wasn't even sure I was going to make a video about this, but I just have a lot of thoughts going on in my head about this Vegas shooting. Now, I, you can assume everyone in the world has heard about it, and those of us who are focused on world news living outside the U.S. I definitely really tuned into this. For one, I'm going back to the States, and I love country music. If you subscribe to me on my other channel, you'll hear me talk a lot about how country music is soul music and how I plan to go see, a lot of performers like Dustin Lynch, Scotty McCreery, Florida Georgia Line. Like I can just, and Jason Aldean. I was really looking forward to that. That's in my top three of wanting to go back to the States. But to hear about this tragedy, I'm still kind of in shock about it. I'm really in shock about it because for me, this sort of tragedy hits home because I'm like, I could have been there. And I'm just wondering about, like, I'm just feeling the energy through through my laptop of everything that everyone was going through there. And it's just like pure fear, you know. And with all of that and with all of the news coverage and all of the information that's out there, you hear a lot of things. There's conspiracy theories coming out. There's a lot of questions that we have, and there's questions that I have too. I just kind of wonder, okay, you have this guy who they're trying to put him like he's just an average American and he's just snapped. He was financially well. He traveled a lot. He had an Asian girlfriend or an Asian ex-wife or whatever. But all of a sudden, he just decided to hold up in a hotel room for 4 days and plan to do this. There's just a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, and they say that ISIS claimed this. There's too much that doesn't make sense. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I've studied a lot, and I know how private groups, how people with a lot of money, I want to say, behave. And there's just a lot that just sounds wrong with this. And I mean, there's just a lot. And like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but people just don't wake up and they say he's 64 years old. For someone his age, someone knows something, someone knows. I feel like someone knows something. They're not saying anything. His girlfriend, who just up and left and went to Tokyo, she just up and left days before this happened. And yet, she was a person of interest, but she's not. How is she not? She was living, sleeping with, dealing, and dating a man, and she had no idea that he was just gonna go on a shooting rampage. How do you not know that? And you're dealing with someone. How do you not know someone is off, and you're still considered their girlfriend? There's just a lot that just doesn't make sense about this. It could be the amount of media coverage that I'm getting, or I don't know, but like some people say there were two shooters. The way it sounds like it was actually two shooters. Then they said that he made some sort of, first of all, he got a hold of guns that you couldn't just normally get. I mean, right. So how does he get a hold of sophisticated weaponry that even higher ups in the military have to request, have to go through certain channels in order to get? But yet he had them. Not only did he have them, but he made additional parts for the guns to shoot more or shoot. I mean, it just doesn't sound. It doesn't sound like he acted alone. And then, of course, and the thing about it, when people don't act alone, when there's a conspiracy, if they get caught, they're usually never heard from again, or they kill themselves so they don't have to answer any questions. And a lot of this just sounds a bit made up. And like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. And, I don't want to take anything away, but there's just a lot of information that's coming up. And, I do, I don't, you just never know what to say. I mean, it just sounds like he just didn't act alone. His setup was just too sophisticated. It seems like there was too much money involved, but yet he had $30,000 in gambling debt, but he was well off. So he didn't think to pay the $30,000. He thought to get a room, and he thought to get sophisticated weaponry. That still would have cost him money. It's just, he had a good job or a business or something. None of this stuff adds up as to how someone snaps. There's cracks before a person snaps. There's always cracks before a person snaps. And no one picked up on anything. And then didn't his brother say that his own daughter could have been at the concert, so she could have been in that line of fire to get shot? So he wouldn't have cared if even he would have been shooting towards his own family, if he would have shot his own family. Like I said, a lot of this just doesn't make sense. And this is a time that we're living in where, I'll just call it out. Like, we have to really, really look at the government for a lot of things that happen. And all that happens isn't what it appears to be. Everything that happens is not simply what it appears to be on face value. We can just look at throughout U.S. history. President Trump came out and said a few words, not too many, but he came out and said a few words, and just like a quick soundbite. I saw it live, and people expected more. He wasn't around for any questions. I don't know if he answered any questions later on, but the one that he did from the White House, the speech that he gave from the White House, or the remarks he gave from the White House, were just very short, very general. They didn't answer any questions. The press was there. I understand he's not into fake news, but it seemed like, and they're still searching for a motive. Because they have to have people, wonder, people will start thinking, none of this just makes sense for this type of person to snap. And then you got ISIS chiseling back, and then now you have the situation about guns, and everyone from the cracks and corners are coming out about gun laws, And it's like almost right on time. People are coming out about saying, well, we need stricter gun laws right on time. Hillary didn't even wait until the bodies, really. It's just like a whirlwind. And I'm not even there. And I see all this. And I'm just thinking, Americans really need to be cautious in dealing with the media, especially, and what they think and believe about our government. We really need to question everything, and we really need to ask questions. What about the woman? Did they ever find the woman who was going around saying that everyone was gonna die? Did they ever go and find that woman and see, was she either a part of the setup, or, they said that they dismissed her because she was crazy. So was she a part of the setup, or did she know something or sense something? Because nowadays, in the times that we're living in, people who weren't spiritual before are having awakenings. They're having information being brought to them in dreams, and they're being foretold about situations that are happening, and this is the time where you'll get a lot of that. These are the days when, when your food has been tampered with, when there's so much chaos, when the media is just constantly trying to keep you on edge, about every single thing, when the media is trying to teach you, how everybody hates you, there's an impending race war, there's this, there's that, be scared, be afraid. these are the times when people are having intuition flashes and having dreams about things that are to come, you know. And I think this is a real time when people need to pay attention, you know. And I just hope, you know, I'm not a praying person, but I do hope for anyone who is hurt, the victims, you know, Jason Aldean. I mean, because even for him to have witnessed something like that as a performer, you know, can you imagine performing and having to run off the stage? He said that, didn't he say he saw someone get shot and so that's when he ran off the stage? But to imagine that can scar you as a performer. Like, you know, there's just so many people, you know, who are just affected by this, and then the viewers, and then the American people and people around the world, but especially Americans who are even watching this, who have even lived this energy, this fear, this unsettling, just cast of darkness that this situation has put up on you. I just really think it's not as clear cut, and I don't mean about the shooter. I mean the entire situation is not as clear cut. There's too many holes in it. There's too much that doesn't make sense. And it's unsettling. It really is unsettling. They don't have a motive. Like Lee Harvey Oswald didn't have a motive. I don't know. I just don't trust a lot, especially these days. You know, when you travel a bit, you just see a lot of things, and you see how things are put together. And you know, but anyway, I do want to say that, you know, I will really keep the victims in my, you know, in my thoughts. Like I said, I'm not a praying person. I'm not an atheist, but I just have a different life philosophy, and I just hope that they heal themselves by meditating and getting away from the negativity, keeping the television off, and just really going inside themselves and offering some gratitude for life. That'll speed up the healing. And just, I guess this is really a time for gratitude. This is a time to notice how Americans once again pull together when things hit the fan. And this is a time for us to ask our government questions on how, when there is, you know, a tragedy or a big situation, how all the politicians rush in, and how they get all these celebrities on board, and, oh, you know, we need this done and we need that done. Way to get a bill passed, you know, by capitalizing off of a tragedy. But I just think that really a lot of the people a lot of the victims who went through this, they really need to meditate and really kind of just need to shut down for a while and really just need to kind of get inside themselves so they can heal themselves. It'll speed up the emotional healing, but it'll also speed up like the physical healing, you know. Keep that TV off, you know, it's a lot coming out of it. So I've said all I wanted to say. It's weird to watch, you know, because when I heard about it, I was in shock. I grabbed my braids and I said, "Oh, not my country music." I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock, and just waiting for answers like the rest of you are. So, I hope you Americans, you stay vigilant and you stay tuned in and you question everything that the media is putting out, and you look at it sideways, up and down, and you look at it again, and you try and get to the truth of this situation, because there's just too much that doesn't make sense. And I'll be doing that from my end of the earth until I'm actually physically there as well. And I don't know, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. There's a lot of answers that have to come up with this. There's a lot of answers, and that guy took himself out so he didn't have to answer any. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thanks, bye.